Hey everybody, welcome to Finding Fun. My name is Kate and this is the very first video of this new channel, my only channel, my first channel on YouTube. And I'm so excited that you have either clicked on that button to watch this video or the algorithm just brought you here. Either way, I'm excited that you are here. To be honest, it is probably taking me a gajillion takes to actually get this video done. And so I'm just going with it. And that is one of the things that I have learned, that you just need to start. So on September 21st, 2024, I started my eBay store. I had never done any type of online reselling before, but just so happens that I was looking for a way to make extra income and thought, hey, going out and buying things, finding things, searching for treasures, and then finding them new homes and flipping them for a profit made a lot of sense to me. So I started with things that I had around my house. And then that grew into me going to the thrift stores. And then that grew into me doing online auctions. And now over a year later, I've sold over 700 items on eBay. And that might not seem like a huge number to you, or maybe it does seem like a huge number, but for me, it's just kind of a picture of the growth and consistency within my eBay business. And so Finding Fun is a channel that I hope to just share my journey with you. Maybe you are someone who's looking into starting selling on eBay. Maybe you're just someone who really loves to watch and see people find cool stuff. So whatever your journey happens to be, I invite you to come along with me on my journey as I find fun and funds by going out and going to thrift stores, garage sales, and flipping things for profit. So I don't really know what all this channel is going to contain, but I can tell you that it will be a mix of me going out and finding those items, me sharing the tips and tricks and things that I have learned over my, year and a half-ish of being on eBay. I do not claim to be an expert, but I do know that I'm grateful for the people that took the chance, started a YouTube channel to share their experiences and to share what they've learned, because they have truly helped me along the way. And that is what I would like to do with this channel as well. So that's me. This is Finding Fun. The question that I always hear from people that hear about me being a eBay reseller or just a reseller is it really worth it? And I would say that it is. But there are a couple of things that you need to be aware of right off the bat when you're deciding to start selling on eBay or really selling on any online platform. And that is, it's not easy. I think that a lot of people think, oh, you don't have to hardly spend any time. I will tell you that I probably spend more time working on building my eBay business than I did when I was at my 9-to-5 job. The other thing is you have to be super consistent. And part of that is also being organized. Am I always the greatest at that? No. But it is important to put in processes that will help you be successful. And as far as consistency goes, it really goes to being consistent in your listings and making sure that you have good products that are going up on your eBay store. A lot of that is by researching, by using the app to look at sell-through rates and things like that. And we will go through that in future videos. I don't want to get ahead of myself on this very first video, but all that to say, especially if you're still watching, thank you so much. It would absolutely, I'd be honored if you decide to come along with this journey with me. Today is, like I said, today's January 11th, 2026. And so new year, new start, new channel, first channel. And so today is Sunday. So basically what I'll be doing is I'm going to take all of the orders that were placed this weekend and I'll get those ready to be shipped out first thing tomorrow morning. So for today, I just wanted to say hello, welcome, introduce myself, and then also, if you want, come along with me as we're going to pack up the orders from this weekend. I'll show you what sold. I'll tell you how long it took for that stuff to sell, and I'll also tell you how much I purchased the item for so that you can kind of see what my profit was on that. So my goal is to be transparent, to hopefully help you. Like I said, I'm so grateful for others that were on YouTube when I was starting out. So welcome. Let's go get some of these things shipped, or at least prepared to ship tomorrow morning. Okay, so we are in my eBay room / office / storage. I really try to kind of put everything in one place so I don't have it scattered around the house. Sometimes that works, sometimes it doesn't. My garage right now is crazy messy because of an auction lot I picked up that I still have not gone through, so I'll be going through that. But I wanted to go ahead and show you what sold over the weekend. So today, like I said earlier, is Sunday. So this is what sold late Friday night, Saturday morning, and then today. And so I've got them all. What I do is I have this little bin that I put the sold items in, and so I'll show you that. And I've got pulled up kind of to tell you how long it took to sell, where I got the item, how much I paid for the item to begin with. So first up, this sold about 2 hours ago, but it is a rustic cuff. And pull this. I got this from an auction, estate sale buyout. And so it was just a huge jewelry lot. So really I probably ended up spending maybe a quarter to 50 cents for this. The lot, I've already sold a lot of the items that were in that specific lot. So this really is now kind of just profit, but it's a really pretty rustic cuff. It came in the original box. And so this sold for $11. I took an offer for it. It had been up for 4 months. So it had been there for a while. So I took an offer for $11 plus they paid for the shipping. So altogether $16.26, so $11 plus shipping. So we'll get that out. And like I said, for right now, that is just profit because the items that sold from that lot already have paid for the lot. So the rustic cuff. Next up, we have, let me see here, another item that I purchased from an auction, and it is this really cute Martinez pottery, hand-turned, made in the USA, Marshall, Texas. Sorry about the lighting. It's kind of dark in this room, and so I've got the ring light, but the lighting might be weird, but we'll get it figured out as we go. So Martinez pottery bowl. So this took 2 months to sell. It's in excellent condition. 2 months. I sold it for, looks like I took an offer for $16.97 plus shipping. So $16.97 plus shipping, and the auction lot that this was in, I think probably less than $1. I'll say $1. I don't know. I have to go back and look and see if the other items have already paid for this lot, but so picked up for about $1 and sold for $16.97 plus shipping. And it's really, you know, these small items really do add up. So just kind of the miscellaneous items I'm perfectly fine with. Okay, so this is a Buffy the Vampire Complete Series DVD set. And so I had already put it in a box that I had. So when I do most of my shipping, I'm recycling boxes, but this one, they all fit perfectly. So it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 seasons used, but 7 seasons DVD set, Buffy the Vampire Slayer. I got this. This took 4 days to sell. 4 days to sell, and I picked these up at the bins just last week. So from the time that, let's see, I don't know if I have the actual purchase date, but so I purchased it on January 7th, and I got it listed that same day, and it sold in 4 days. So that cost me $1 for all of those. And I made sure to go in and check, make sure all of the DVDs were there. Everything looked in great condition. There was just some kind of on the outside covers. The cardboard was a little bent in places, but other than that, it was great. And it sold for $44.97 plus shipping. Now, I see a lot of people pick up like DVDs and CDs. I don't pick up a lot of them, But because this was the complete set, and I had looked at the comps, the sold comps, and there had been some within December that had sold the complete set for around $45, $50, I knew that I had a good chance. And so I went ahead and picked these up. But I haven't had the best of luck selling used DVDs. I know some people do. I think it really does matter if it's a popular TV series or what movie it is, and to also just to go ahead and use your app and do the research to see what the sell-through rate is. Because some of them, like this one, sold really fast. 4 days for $44.97 plus shipping. So, and like I said, paid $1 for it. As you can see, most of these things paid $1. I don't buy a lot of high ticket items just because probably, and maybe some of you starting out, you know, it's just we're selling what we have at home, and then we can kind of build to start to be able to spend more on our sourcing. But for me, I really am looking for those fast turnaround, good quality items that I can buy at the bins or in these estate sale lots. And so this is a bunch of those, and they've sold really quickly. So like I said, 4 days on that. And then let's see, next up, we have an item that I had on hand. And so that is this vintage lighter. And so I had this on hand. This was just a item that was my family had. And so this sold for $19 plus shipping. So took a deal on it. It needs some work, which I put in the listing. But some of these that I saw on the sold comps, let me just say this, if I can figure out how to put stuff on there these first couple of videos, I might try to put up a screenshot. But if not, let me tell you, some of these were selling, you know, that were in mint condition with the booklets and things, upwards of $50. So this one sold for $19 plus shipping, but there was no cost for me on my end since it was a family item. So let's see, I'm trying to go in order. Then we have another item that I picked up recently from the bins, and this took 10 hours to sell. So the time I got it posted, within 10 hours, it sold. And it's this print, Nantucket print. It's kind of on this, not even like that foam board, you know, like the cardboard, foam board signs kind of things. And it's got wear on the edges. And so I made sure that I put that in the listing, but it's a really cool, vibrant print from originally a watercolor, C. Robert Piran, I think is how you say that. But it sold in 10 hours. Like I said, I didn't see any specifically like this listed. And that's the thing, you know, there's been times where it's funny, like you get something posted and it sells immediately and like you're excited, but at the same time you're like, did I miss out? Like, was there something special about this that I didn't know? I don't know, but whoever got it, it looks like maybe they're a collector of this particular, so I'm really happy that it's going to them. And I think they got a great deal. Hopefully they do too, and that's why they snagged it so quickly. But this sold for $17.97 plus shipping. So altogether their total was $24.02. And so we'll get that out. And good news is I had an Amazon package that came yesterday that looks like might be the perfect box to ship this in. I will wrap this up nicely and put it in a box to ship. So I'm going to be really excited because it's kind of a strange shape. So this sold in 10 hours. So I've had fairly good luck with prints and some art pieces. And that really just comes down to Google lensing and using the eBay app to look up those things. This one, I just thought it was really neat. It just was a cool piece to me, and it looks like somebody else thought it was too. So I'm glad that I picked that up. Less than $1 at the bins for that one. So, okay, what else? So next we have another item picked up from the bins. This took 5 days to sell, and it is a tote bag, like a canvas tote bag. And it's a Brighton canvas tote bag, used, but I cleaned it up. It's in really good condition. There is on the inside, there's just some slight kind of, I don't know if you can tell, but some slight kind of like water staining. And so I made sure to note that on the listing, but really cool, cute tote. And so this one sold for $19.97 plus shipping, sold in 5 days. And so this cost me $2 at the bins. I went back and found the receipt. So $2 at the bins for this tote, and sold in 5 days for $19.97 plus shipping. And I don't do free shipping on very many of my items. Sometimes I will on hats, and I did sell a hat, so I'll see if I did free shipping on that. But usually I charge shipping, and then I just kind of make sure I look at the other comps and see where it's at. And you know, I think there are some items that I could probably list for more, but based on what I bought it for, and then just also wanting people to get a good deal as well, it will sell faster. So now if I had bought that tote for $10, then, you know, that would be kind of a hard, you know, that might not be a great buy, because the comps weren't really, you know, they weren't $20 or more, on some of those. So, next up, okay, another item from the bins. Last week of the bins is worked out really well. This sold in 3 days, and I put a post on my Facebook page, so feel free to not only follow this channel, but also check out my Facebook page. And I kind of just did a kind of scanning of the things that I bought at the bins and said, hey, what do you think? Any of this a great pick, good pickup? And this was one of those items that was really small, but I grabbed from the bins a Walmart bag that was full of toys. And in that bag was this 1998 kind of posable Beavis and Butthead Beavis figure. And so I got this listed, and it sold in 3 days. I'd seen some comps where it was both Beavis and Butthead listed, but this is just Beavis. And so I based my off of what kind of they had sold together and kind of halved that. And so this sold 3 days for $24.97 plus shipping. So $24.97, really quick, light, easy pickup from the bins. I mean, what, like 50 cents? So I'm assuming this is going to maybe a collector, but excited to get it sent to them. So 3 days, $24.97 plus shipping. And I think that's another thing that I think of is like how important it is. I talk about kind of not having this death pile build up. And if you could only see, I don't want to show you the pile of things I have that I still need to go through. My goal for 2026 is that when I go and purchase things, especially at the bins or the thrift stores or estate sales, that I get that stuff listed within 24 hours. It's a little bit harder to do when I go pick up items from like estate sale, auction buyouts, or things like that. But for those, I want to get things listed within the week. So that is my goal for 2026, because I do not need things sitting around. I mean, this is a perfect example of a lot of these items that I'm showing you that sold this weekend, I bought this week or last week. And so they sold within 10 hours to a couple of days. So I think it's just a reminder that, you know, if you're going to pick it up, you picked it up because hopefully you did the research or you're familiar with it and you know that it's a high-end demand product. So why would you not want to get that listed as soon as possible? So, and I get it. Things happen. Okay, next up, we have 2 more items that sold. These are some sunglasses. And they do not, I didn't list them with the case because they didn't come with a case, but I had an extra case hanging around, and I'll probably send them in the case just because it'll really help protect them in shipping. And I'm not planning on selling this eyeglass case on eBay. It's just, I got a bunch of them in a estate lot. I listed the ones that I thought would sell well. So I'll probably package it with this, but it's these vintage Jenny made in Italy sunglasses. And so these sold, it took about 2 months to sell these. I got these in an estate sale. I think I paid like 50 cents for them. And they sold for $29 plus shipping. So I will get these I will put them in a case for them and get those shipped out. And you know, there's really the only thing, I usually box everything when I ship, except for like clothes. Now, if somebody buys a piece of clothing that's, you know, and spends hundreds of dollars on it, $100, or maybe really, you know, 60, 70, I will probably box it up. Just because I want to make sure it gets there in great condition with all my stuff. But for most things, I'm doing boxes, unless, you know, clothing, I'll throw in a poly bag. I double bag. I don't know. Like I said, I'm a year into it. I just really feel like that's something important that I want to do. I also make sure that I have a note to every one of my buyers in there thanking them. Because I know what I would want. If when I buy things, I want them to be cared for and delivered to me well. So I'm rambling, but Jenny made in Italy sunglasses, about 2 months on that. And then our last thing that we have was another pickup from the bins, and it is a hat. And I love to pick up hats. Probably because I like to wear hats. And so, but I really do like to pick up hats. They really tend to sell pretty quickly. They're lightweight. They're really easy to ship. Now that is another thing. I do not put my hats in poly bags. I don't want the hats getting bent. I put them in a box. But other people might do differently, but I think it's better that way. If they're in a poly bag, you're risking them getting bent on the bill and things like that. So I picked this up at the bins. This took 8 days to sell. I did get this one listed the same day that I got it. And so pretty quick. And like I said, whenever I get done listing an item, especially a clothing item or hat, I go ahead and I stick it in one of my clear bags right here. And then if it's a clothing item, this bag will get sealed, and then with my thank you card will go into a mailer, a poly bag mailer. But like this one, this hat is going to be put back in this bag, and then is going to be put into a box. So this is a every other Thursday hat. I had to look this up when I was at the bins, but when I did, I noticed that it was a brand that sells really well. And so there was a couple other hats that had sold well. So I picked this one up. I did give it a good clean, and it sold for $23.98 plus shipping. So really good deal on that. Maybe $1 is what I paid for that at the bins, but it was in really good shape. And I think that's the other thing on hats. I just make sure that they're in really good condition, or I make sure that I clean them to where they're in really good condition. The only exception to that might be if it is a really vintage hat, collectible hat. And then sometimes just the wear kind of adds to the value of it. But the majority of my hats are kind of what I call my bread and butter hats. So they just, whether it's brands or sports teams or running hats. So there we go. That was the items that we sold. I think it's like, I don't know, what are we up to? 9? I lost count, but so that's what is sold Friday night, Saturday, and today. So I'll get those into their boxes and shipped out, and I will head to the post office first thing tomorrow morning to get these items out. So there we go. That is what sold this weekend. Also, thank you so much, if you have made it this far, for watching my very first video, my very first one here on the Finding Fun YouTube page. Thank you so much. It would mean the world to me if you enjoyed this, or if you are looking forward to maybe seeing other content that I put out, going and sourcing at these, estate sales, garage sales, the bins, thrift stores, looking at the online auctions. If at all you're interested in that, or you're interested in learning more about reselling, make sure to click that subscribe button. I really appreciate it. Comment down below. Let me know what you think. Ask me your questions. And thanks for hanging out with me on this very first video. I hope you have a fantastic week ahead of you, and we'll see you on the next video. Bye.